So I paid a visit to Lidl this week. They had a bunch of the performance tools in. Heard a lot of good things about these, so I said I'd pick one up. Got a cordless hammer drill today. Brushless motor. Fairly heavy duty looking yoke, no in fairness to it, but we'll pull it out of the box, see if it's any good. Like all of their tools these days, it doesn't come with a battery or charger, so if you don't have one already, best buy one along with it. Now it's part of the 20 volt range, which covers a huge number of tools now. So the performance is under that 20 volt range, so all the same batteries that you've had before, which would be these lads. These will all work in the same set of tools, which is handy if you've already invested in a couple of these. So one of the nicer things about it is that they're a different colour, black, a little nicer, and quite an attractive box they come in. Red and black, licoricey colours. We have a small little tagged nip. There we are. Small. So we've got a bit of grease for. Now there's a little warning that says no gears. I'm guessing it's not for internal lubrication, but looks like it's for lubricating drill bits and chisels and stuff like that. Now it doesn't come with any drill bits, even though there is some slots in the box for 6, 8 and 10 bits, but no, all you're getting is your drill. Pull the box aside and I pull out the all manual. Anything good in there? Right, let's put the box on the floor. So geez, it's very tidy, heavy, good bit of weight in it now. So like all of these, twist your handle and then you can twist it again to tighten it for if you want to use it right-handed, or you can, well, I think you'll have to pull off your little depth gauge. So if you don't want to go too deep into the wall, you can set your little gauge, and then when you're, now they won't work with these sort of little bits, but I suppose it'll stop you from going into the wall too deep. So yeah, that's one thing noticing about it. It's got an SDS chuck, so it doesn't use standard drill bits like these. That would work in a more traditional cordless drill. Instead, you will have to get the SDS bits, which have a slightly different, here's a big giant one, but slightly different, so you get that in focus. Stupid camera. Let me try and touch it. Anyway, despite it being a little blurry, the bits like this will fit into a chuck like this. Eventually get it in. And then you've got a, well, now I'd have my doubts as to whether this would be beefy enough for such a large bit, but sure. I don't think the missus would be too happy now if I tried to test it out around the house. We'll have a lot of holes in the wall. But it's fairly large. So we start off with a couple of different configurable settings on the side. We can go between drill, hammer drill, chisel and hammer. Now I don't know what the difference between a chisel and a hammer would be. Normally on these sorts of drills, you would have it's weird, it doesn't seem to let you click into that middle setting. So despite there being a specific setting for chisel, it doesn't lock into it like it does with the others. So as you can hear, it locked into the hammer and the drill, but it doesn't lock into chisel. Now maybe it's just there for the fun. I don't know if it does any difference. Maybe it rotates slightly if you're using like if you want to use a bit like this, that's sort of you want to get a bit of a spin on it. I don't know, but there you go. So your hammer would just be the pure force that you'd use your normal chisel with, and then the hammer and the normal drill would just supposed to be drilling through concrete walls and whatever. So on the box at least, it looks like it's using the high capacity battery. Now, just about fits in. No, Jesus, it's gotten very heavy with that in there. Ooh. Very heavy. Now, one thing I wanted just to test, and I don't think it really needs to be tested, but let's just confirm it for the sake of it. In the 20-volt range, you can get 2 batteries, the larger one and the smaller one. The smaller one isn't pictured on the box. Now, I would assume that there is no issue using it, but it probably would drain your battery pretty... Jesus, this is stiff. They always are. Yeah. Give it a little spin. Sometimes the gear or whatever locking mechanism isn't right. There you go. Looks a bit, tiny bit off. If you're if you've got a little bit OCD like that and you like things to be even, it is a little bit off if you use a smaller battery. But still, if you have one, you know it'll work. We'll go back to the hammer setting just to be sure. So as you can see, when the hammer setting's on, doesn't spin. Now as with the hammer and drill, and just drill. I'll just for my own personal viewing, I'll put the bigger battery in because the smaller one, the fact that it's not even, is annoying me. And I guess for resting it too, it rests quite nicely then with the larger battery. You can leave it sitting like that. So we've got our reverse and forward here on the back. I'm guessing this is the speed. Yep. Starts off on 1. Now I wonder, is that speed only to do with the hammer or only to do with the drill? Nope. All my assumptions are wrong today. So that's on 1. It's on 6. So geez, you get quite a strong burst of hammer with the full strength on. Again, you'll probably see your battery drain to bits, but who knows? I haven't obviously used it yet on any big projects, and who knows when I will. I'll have to find a use for it soon. Maybe some lights around the back garden, just through some outdoor walls so I won't get in trouble. So what else are we looking at here? It's quite nice looking. I don't know if you'd really want to be using this too much, particularly when you're drilling through walls. You're going to drill until you get through rather than drill until you get a certain depth. And if you're only hanging an old picture or a few screws in a regular concrete wall, I think a drill this big is probably overkill. It's fairly hefty, alright. Not that you wouldn't want it, but hey, if you do. Oh look, there's actually it comes through. No. Maybe it does. Anyway, there's centimeters marked on this metal piece. So I suppose if you are trying to measure your depth, you can use the centimeter markings here just to make sure you don't go in too deep. But that's a pretty easy thing to solve with a little bit of electrical tape or something. I feel like this, particularly for a left-handed person who doesn't use their right hand on the trigger, if you want to hold it like that, the gauge is going to get in the way. So if you're left-handed, or maybe I'm using the drill wrong, who knows. But hey, if you use it this way with your right hand on the grip, you can't use your depth gauge. So that's all there is to it, really. So for the sake of it, I won't go doing any demos. But there's an unboxing and a few opinions. We got do have a torch on it, a light. Fairly common on most drills these days. Is it aimed upwards? Yeah, it is. I was thinking if it's down there, is it gonna hit the? But it is slightly angled if you look at it there. So that is pointing up towards the drill site. And in fact, that's probably a better location for it, because when you look, do I have any other drills around here? I do not. Well, never mind. I have to reckon everything here. But yeah, it is a nice advantage to have it down low. It will point up at the drill bit. But it feels fairly sturdy. Good solid yoke. It's heavy. It is heavy. Especially with the higher capacity battery, which is fairly heavy all on its own. But I say you could do a nice bit of work with something like this. We'll get a small chiseling. The grip does get in the way some of it though. Let me master these chucks one of these. There we go. So I'll master these one of these. I'll just put it on the chisel setting. It still rotates. No different than it would otherwise. But however, now when you've got your chisel in, everything's gonna fall off the walls now from all the vibration. This is a very handy little yoke for just if you want to pop a couple of small tiles off. I wouldn't think you'd be giving yourself any favors ripping up an entire floor with it. Not that it wouldn't be able to do it, but I have a feeling if you did try to do that, battery life would be a major problem for you. In which case you'd probably be better off going for something that has a wire and just pulling it into the outlet and tearing up your floor that way. But if you had a couple of tiles to pull off around the kitchen wall or a little backsplash or something in the bathroom, that'd be an excuse to spend 60-70 quid on a drill that you could probably save you about 10 seconds compared to doing it by hand, but isn't that where buying tools is all the more fun? So there you go. The Parkside PKHAP 20Li A1. So I guess it's the first version of it because they tend to go to A2 and I've seen B2s and B1s. This may be the first one. We'll see now in 6 months. It'll probably be broken. There'll be some defect that'll need an A2 to fix. Early adopters, beware. Now we'll see. Doesn't seem like the kind of drill you'd be using on a daily basis anyway, unless you're some kind of satellite dish installer or something. You need to be constantly putting up wires and drilling into chimneys. But there you go. Unboxing. Basic demo. And for the sake of my own life, I won't go demonstrating it on a real wall for today.